Good morning, it's Leanne Peters here. I'm from templeofbalance.com.au, Temple of Balance on Facebook and Temple of Balance on YouTube. And I'm here to pull some cards and share some guidance for this week ahead. That's this week starting Wednesday the 14th of September through till Tuesday the 20th of September 2022. So while you're coming over, I want to send out an extra special welcome to my Temple of Balance patrons, my Pillar of Light family, and all of those of you who support my work through my website. Thank you so much for your support. So welcome. My plan is that I'm going to use my Oracle cards and find the best cards that the majority of us need for this week ahead. So I'll be pulling cards, general guidance for us all. I'm not pulling cards for individuals. So let's see what happens. I recommend that you take on board what resonates and what fits into your life easily and let the rest go. And let's get straight into it. It looks like Facebook is going to be suppressing this video live. So we will just dive in and see what comes up. So I'm just going to start shuffling. We'll just reflect on last week's theme, which was the stallion. The stallion's message was to untie yourself, so setting your wild spirit free. I noticed too, and I've written in the report for today, which I haven't put out yet, but I'll send out after this video, that there seems to be a renewed interests coming up at the moment, where things that we maybe had put aside for some months or years for whatever reason are being revived at the moment. So there seems to be this revived, renewed interest. And that's sort of very much in line with our theme card from last week with the stallion. So welcome Michelle, welcome Christine, and welcome to the other 10 people watching live. It's great to see you here. So I'm shuffling the cards and I'm holding the intention I want to find the best cards that the majority of us need for this week ahead, starting Wednesday the 14th of September through till Tuesday the 20th of September 2022. So the best cards that the majority of us need for this week ahead are these. I'm going to lay them face down here, so just bear with me a second. I'm just placing them face down. Okay, so we have 5, Speed of Light, 3, Animal Kingdom. Welcome. Hi, Elizabeth. Hi, Jacoba. Lovely to see you guys. Let's turn these cards over, see what we have in store, potentially. Okay, no featured cards. We're going to get straight into it. We have the Elephant coming up for Wednesday, the 14th of September. And the Elephant is card 7, and it says family commitments. So this highlights the energy of the family as we start this reading week, so from Wednesday onwards. And it's interesting that the elephant sits at the top of a triangle, or a sort of a triangle that I've done with cards, that the elephant sits on top. So in some ways I feel at the moment for a lot of us that our family commitments and our family connections or things going on in the family seem to be quite top priority, and it feels like there are things that are going on maybe that we're helping with, or that we're assisting with, or that are changing in the family that are kind of at the forefront of our mind or the forefront of our energy at this time. So family feels to be really important, and there is this feeling here of going the distance, so it's not like a clicking our fingers and it will be resolved sort of thing. So it feels like there might be some things that need to be sorted out or dealt with or handled over a period of time. So it feels to be like a slow or not necessarily slow, but it may be slow, but a steady and consistent pace that we're moving at. It's not going to be over like a short sprint. We're going the marathon distance, it feels, with this. And it's most likely connected with the family, but it could also be connected with something else. So there is a highlight here around the family. It had been at the apex of the pyramid, or the apex of that sort of triangle at the moment, the things that it feels like top priority in some instances for us. So I see how that resonates with you. And then we move to Thursday, the 15th of September, we have the Black Panther, card 30, and it says to find acceptance. So there is something probably that we're dealing with at this time, and especially coming up on Thursday, that we might be struggling to accept. So sometimes changes happen, or we go through loss as well, or grief that can be very difficult to accept. But there are changes and things that happen in our life, even as we age and as we change and as we grow, as our relationships change. There's all sorts of things in effect, or that shift for us potentially. And what we've been encouraged to do is look at, if we're struggling with something, are we struggling to accept how something has become, or accept how things are now? Because there can be a part of us that wants things to be how they used to be. We want that person back in our life. We want this amount of energy and motivation again that we once had, that we don't probably have at this time. So there can be this kind of grieving of the past and grieving of what we don't have now. So it may be worth looking at, what are we struggling to accept on Thursday, and what can we do to help us find a sense of acceptance. And that feels like, to me, it feels like it brings a sense of peace. So if you want to find peace within yourself and your life, then maybe acceptance might be the key. Are you struggling to accept, or are you open to accepting? So if you're open to it, it feels like peace comes with that. If you're struggling to accept, it keeps the agitation or the grief, it keeps all that energy very much at the forefront. So finding acceptance could help us find the peace that we need. So if you find yourself wanting peace, but you're struggling to find it, maybe look at the branch out of peace that's acceptance, and whether you're finding acceptance or not with a particular situation. Now, also on Thursday, the 15th of September, we have the Wolf, card 44. This is really interesting because this is what I've talked about a lot in the current energy report today, and it's about cycles. So down here it says instincts, moon, cycles, flow, and trust. So this is about cycles, and there is a lot of cyclic things happening at the moment. And usually we see this playing out with deaths and births. So if there's a few deaths around you, and sending lots of love if you have lost someone close to you and you are grieving at this time, but there seems to be a lot of that sort of death ending energy, a lot of births as well, a new beginning energy around. So whenever there is a sort of a concentration of that happening, just the bigger picture of that, not in the emotion of it, but the bigger picture of it, it tends to indicate quite a big cycle that we're going through. So this seems to be evident at this time. Like I said, I've just spoken about it in the current energy report. It's also come up in the cards. In fact, yeah, there might be even more coming up around this as well. But this card's very much about the cycle. So the cycles that we move through in life, you know, that doors open, doors close, doors open, doors close. Things are good, things are not so good. People come, people go. I mean, the only consistent thing about our life, really, from the moment we take our first breath to the moment we take our last, is ourselves. This is the only constant we have throughout our whole life's journey. Everyone else comes and goes. All things cycle through, and it's just a part of life. And this is why, like personally, when I had my children, especially when they were born, a lot of people were telling me that had children that were older now, that this happens so quickly. Before you know it, your children will be adults. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I think that's probably true. So I tried to really enjoy every day I could spend with my children throughout those a couple of decades. And now they are adults who are living their own life. And I don't have them around me, my babies, but I don't feel like I grieve it either, because I enjoyed it as it happened. I knew that the day would come where they had to leave home. This is normal. This is a normal phase and cycle. So I feel if we can enjoy and be grateful for the people we do have now, the things that are working for us in our life, and the experiences that we are having that are uplifting and motivating for us, and that's a really great thing. And then allowing things to change. We can't hold on to people and things forever, because they don't stay forever. Things are in constant flux. And this can be a difficult reality to sort of, a difficult sort of almost kick sometimes for us when things change when we least expect it. So don't be surprised if you're going through cycles. You might be going through a grieving time. You may not have lost someone close to you, but you're still grieving a part of your old life or a part of your old self, or how things used to be. So if you find yourself feeling that, feel that grief and feel that part of you that needs to find the acceptance to allow that to be almost laid to rest so that you can get into this next phase of your life. So I trust that makes sense. But cycles are very big right now. And there may be a link here with finding acceptance with things that have happened or things that have changed to help us find the peace to be able to keep moving forward in our life. So that's Thursday, quite big energy. Now Friday, we're moving still into quite big energy. This is quite a potent card. It's for Friday, the 16th of September, and it's card 42, called the Tree Maiden. Now, if you're pretty new to watching these videos, you may not have seen this come up for a while or come up at all, because it hasn't come up for a while. And the Tree Maiden's pretty potent and strong. It says endings, surrender, growth, and illumination. This card brings a potency. It brings an amplification of things or of energy, especially on Friday. Now, it wouldn't be surprising to me that it starts on Thursday, because the energy already feels quite abrupt. It feels quite confronting. It felt like this too last week, so it may just be sort of the vibe around at the moment. But there is this amplification of things at the moment, where things may feel like they're under the magnifying glass. It may feel like things are bigger and louder than what they probably really are. So let's keep perspective, but let's also notice what's been triggered here emotionally, so that we can go through that grief that we need to go through, if that's what we need to do, and allow ourselves to move forward or find that acceptance. So with this card comes the potency. It makes things are louder and are bigger than they probably really are, but it also highlights endings. So usually things are bigger and louder to help us see something, but in this particular card too, it's about maybe there's a door that needs closing, or a door or two, or things that need ending in our life. Maybe we've been keeping something going that's been long expired, and it's just becoming more difficult and more difficult to keep going with that particular thing. So we might find that some endings are in order. We might need to close some doors. We may need to surrender some things that haven't been working for us. So the cat is sitting here staring at me, purring, waiting for a pat, because she's wondering who I'm talking to. But of course, she thinks I'm talking to her. Do you want to come and say hello to our friends up here? Come on. Here she is. She says hello from Tasmania, where it's quite cool and a bit windy, but partly cloudy. Not too bad for a late winter's day, early spring. There you go. Satisfied now, maybe? Okay, so that was Friday. Now Saturday. Saturday. Okay. Saturday we have the Dolphin. Dolphin is card 6, and it says it's a time to celebrate. So this is about breaching the waters of our heavy emotions, of our past, of the things that we've been through, the challenges that we've overcome in recent months or years or weeks perhaps. And this is about breaching those waters now and finding a time to celebrate. Now, if celebration feels a bit, like I think of, sometimes if someone's passed away that we're quite close to, it can be very difficult to feel that. You kind of understand, yes, celebrate their life, but it's very difficult to sort of celebrate, So sometimes that word celebration or celebrate can be a little bit over the top for what the energy that's been felt. So if celebration is a bit too much for you, then maybe think of appreciation. What can you appreciate about this person that's not here anymore? What can you appreciate about the previous phase of your life, or what you've got going on now if you're in between things? So it is a time to celebrate. It feels on Saturday. Oh, that's interesting. Actually, I just realised I've got a band championship thing that we've got, a competition thing on Saturday. So that's interesting. So a celebration too of maybe hard work or effort that we've put in and something that we achieve, a personal achievement, perhaps on Saturday as well. But yeah, if celebration's a bit too bright and bubbly for you at this time, maybe think about appreciation instead of celebration. They're very similar, but one's less sparkly and bubbly, if you like. That's Saturday. Sunday, the 18th of September, we have the unicorn, and the unicorn is card 50, and it says psychic gifts, spiritual intuition, and trust. So this is about our spirituality on Sundays. There may be something that's important for us to do or practice spiritually. So maybe think about, if it's important to you, think about what are your spiritual interests? What are the things you like to do to honor or celebrate, if you like, or appreciate your spirituality? Do you meditate regularly? Do you do yoga? Do you go to church? Do you step into nature? What is it that you do to honor your spirituality? What is it that you do to continue practicing your spirituality? Is it something that you just do random times? Or do you have or want to make more of a serious commitment to your spirituality? I wouldn't be surprised if you've been thinking that you want to get more involved in the spiritual side of you. I would not be surprised at all, because this has also been about at the moment, is this desire to create or find more meaning and purpose in our life. More of a spiritual objective, if you like. Something more that's bigger than the physical things that we've got going on, or the mental things we're stressed about, or the emotional things that we're drawn into. So I would not be surprised if you've been thinking in the back of your mind that you want to get more involved spiritually in your life. So Sunday, very favourable time to be doing something, practice or taking yourself somewhere that can potentially honour and help you connect with your spirituality. So first of all, what I would be doing is figuring out, who are you on a spiritual level? What is important to you spiritually? What are your spiritual views and values? And what do you want to learn and grow with spiritually? How can you increase your spiritual connections? The best thing probably, at least in this moment, is making time for your spirituality. So once you figure out what it is you want, like for me, using my cards is pretty important to me, and journal writing. So yeah, I could be saying, oh yeah, I must journal write, or I must get my cards out. I could say that for weeks and months and never do it. Or I could put some time aside, even 10 minutes in my day, some days, get out my journal, get out my cards and connect. And whatever else I like to do spiritually, we have to make the time for it. It's very easy to say it and not back that up with time. So let's make sure we're backing up what we want to do and how we want to really enrich our spiritual connections by making the time for it. So that's Sunday, very favourable for spiritual connections. Okay, Monday the 19th of September. Monday the 19th is card 38, Focus. I love this card and I love this artwork. And it says holding position, timing, and growth. So this is a really interesting card for Monday. So primarily it's about focus, but it's also about avoiding naysayers. So what I mean by that is, like, we've walked our path. This is our past path here in this illustration. This is where we've walked from when we took our first breath, and even beforehand. This is where we've walked. This is all the decisions we've made, the choices we've made in life. This is, everything that we've done and chosen and been a part of, our whole life experience that has led us to this very moment. So here we are now, just standing here, sitting here in this present moment. Hopefully we know why we've made certain decisions, or why we chose to do this and not do that. We know what our motives are. So let's be confident as we hold this position now and focus on this position of where we find ourselves now. So this suggests that some of us may find ourselves in a bit of a shaky state right now, maybe a little uncertain about what's coming. But we can find hopefully some comfort or some confidence in knowing that what's led us to this point in our life has been because of our choices and our efforts and our dedication, our focus or lack of focus or what have you, that's led us to this point. So we have some life experience behind us. Some of us have a lot of life experience behind us, and we can use that experience to help increase our confidence in this moment. That will then help us, even if we're sort of shuffling forward on a path that's unknown right now, that's before us, we have that confidence from our past to move down that road, if you like. So let's not be afraid to hold position, to hold focused in our stance. If you have a certain way you want to go and you feel quite confident about that, but you've got other people around you that don't quite get it, they don't understand your motives, or they might have their own, most likely have their own viewpoint to add here. You can listen to what others have to say, but don't let others pull you down from your current position or your current stance. So stay focused, hold position, and here in this moment where we hold position and we stay focused and we are in as much confidence as we can be, this is a space of growth. So we're allowing ourselves to grow as we're here, but let's not let other people chip away at us and pull us down off that space, off that rock where we find ourselves that is strong and confident as we look ahead. We may not know at all where we're going, but if we can hold strong in how we feel now, then each moment will pass and become our future anyway. So sometimes we don't need to have a long, big plan of where we're going or what we want to do in the next 12 months. Sometimes just being present and feeling okay now is enough, because that now then flows to the next now, the next step and the next moment, and we're living out our future now. Because even just in these last couple of minutes of me saying that, we're already flowing into the future. So hold strong in your now. Try not to get lost in your future. Try not to get lost in the naysayers wanting to chip away at you. Hold strong and true and confident as you take your one step at a time forward. You might not know what step 5 or 10 is going to be, and that's okay. Be okay with this current step now, and then feel for the next step. Then feel for the next step. And you are then living your future out now, if that makes sense. So hold your position. Let's hold focused on Monday with where we are now. That is leading us to where we want to be and where we're going. And then Tuesday, the 20th of September, we have Overlapping Worlds card 23. The cat's back. And down here it says transition, sensitivity, temporary, and adjustment. This is about being in between change. It's about being in between things. Usually where we have the old door hasn't closed yet and the new door hasn't fully opened yet. We might be getting things ready for the new door to open. We might be getting things ready for the old door to close, but we're in this hallway, in this transitional period. It can be really uncomfortable and unsettling when we're in those temporary situations or temporary spaces. It's a bit like when we're preparing to move house. So we've got somewhere that we're going, but we're packing and we're still in the old house of what we're getting ready to move out of. So there is this anticipation and excitement about what's next, potentially, but also this sorting out and getting ready to leave what we've known. So that uncomfortable transitional period is always temporary. It's never permanent. It's just an in-between time, transition, as we transition from one space to the next. So sometimes it's helpful to remind ourselves that this is temporary. It's not permanent. It's not always going to be this way, even though it can feel like it at the time, especially very drawn-out transitions that are just like ongoing. Okay, this will happen soon, 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 soon. And it seems to be just like a broken record on repeat. So we've got to be really patient at those long periods of transition, but they're always temporary, and we will eventually find or be in a space of feeling more settled. So it is unsettling. So we might feel like that. We might feel a bit overly sensitive too on Tuesday, but we are transitioning through. Let's do our best to be patient, to be gentle with ourselves, to tie up old loose ends to help things move potentially quicker, or so we're ready, and help line things up that we know that we can line up. But sometimes we've just got to wait, and sometimes we've just got to distract ourselves with other things to occupy ourselves while we're sort of twiddling our thumbs, waiting. So if you find yourself a bit like that, you know, you might feel a bit uncomfortable on Tuesday. So maybe if you want to find something to do that's a bit different, maybe learn something, take yourself somewhere, honour your spirituality, or whatever you feel you need to do. So they are the cards for this week. I trust they support you and resonate. You won't really know until you get through your week, so please come back and connect with the recording throughout the week. You'll always find it pinned to my Temple of Balance Facebook page. You'll always find it on my YouTube channel, Temple of Balance on YouTube, and you'll always find it in the video tab on my website, templeofbalance.com.au video tab. There's stacks of videos too I've done, not just reading ones, but lots of healing and advice and lots of different things. So come back and check with my videos anytime you need to. Thank you so much. Now I am going to pull a theme card in just a second. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you have enjoyed this connection, please hit the thumbs up button. Please show us some love. Please comment or share if you're inspired to. And if you'd like to connect more privately, please don't hesitate to contact us through our website. If you want to learn more about me and the work I do here at Temple of Balance, if you resonate with my approach and my way and my methods, then you might find some great resources on my website. So please have a look and check it out. You can order my cards here that I made on my website, earrings, pendants, artwork, meditations, some supportive services, books, loads of things. Please check it out. So I have my next online art class coming up on Friday, and we're going to be talking about connections. We're going to be looking actually at our spirituality quite strongly and how well we're honouring that, where we might feel disconnected. So this is a really great way to connect with your creativity and art, but also it's very healing. It's very deeply healing. It's like an art therapy, really. The art side is really just a 50% of the component of the art class, because we dive deeply into the topic and have fantastic conversations. So if you would love to have an enriching conversation that looks at things from all different angles, very healing as well, then please have a look at the online art classes. They are a great way of support and help and connection with other people. So it's on Zoom this Friday. It's not available after, it's only for people that register, but there is a video that you can watch later just for those that book, and a card reading club coming up on Friday as well. And we're going to be exploring connections as well on Friday. So check them out. They're both on Zoom. You can find them easily on my website. So let's now look for the best theme card. The theme card will help bring this whole week together, this reading week, and help us see the bigger picture for the 14th of September through till the 20th of September 2022. So the best theme card for this week for the majority of us is, let's see, let's go with this card here. It's an Animal Kingdom Oracle card, and it's this. We had the Raven last week, and I think it may have come up the week before. It's card 17, the Raven. It says to face your shadow with honesty. So this brings a potentially confronting element to this week. There may be some things that confront us. There may be some things that challenge us. This is not a bad thing. Let's not be afraid or take things personally if we're confronted or if we're challenged, because that's how we learn, that's how we grow, that's how we improve ourselves. By being challenged with someone that doesn't understand what we're trying to say helps us say something in a better way. So challenges and confrontations are good, they are healthy, they are normal. So we might find that happening this week. Let's not take things personally, but let's learn from them and grow from them as we can. Now, our shadow side could be some residual fear and insecurities, especially coming over from last week. So if you connected with last week's video, this was quite strong energy last week. So you might find yourself still shifting through fear or insecurities or bad habits that you've been looking at and trying to break or trying to sort out. So don't be surprised if things like that still are working their way through this week for your healing and for your understanding. If you find yourself chasing things like, I just can't resolve this, or I keep dealing with the same situation over and over and over again, why am I not getting it, or why is this not changing for me? It's probably because you're sort of missing a key element that is connected with the truth. You know, I felt to me then like that word just was like a blade that just cut through like a bunch of fog or mist or something. It's the truth. We have to be honest with ourselves about how we feel, or honest about these situations, honest about ourselves. It's very easy to project, and it's very easy to blame. It's very easy to allow ourselves to be victim to things as well. So if we want to change that feeling, if we want to stop feeling like victim, if we want to stop blaming, we want to stop being so agitated and complaining all the time because we've become very bitter about what happened, if we're tired of being that sort of person, then we can confront that. We can confront that energy, and we can, if we allow ourselves to, we can let it go so we can move forward in a lighter way, if you like. So, you know, there does come a point. I mean, things happen to us all that are difficult. And if it's a new thing, it's even more difficult. But if time has passed, how much longer are we going to allow ourselves to hold ourselves or weigh ourselves down from what happened? If what happened to you 5, 10, 20, 30 years ago, I mean, when's it going to be enough for you put this aside, to lay this situation to rest and get on with your life? You know, I mean, we're all victims in some way or some capacity, but whether we hold ourselves in that space or not, that's our choice. So, you know, we might have big reasons, and a whole list of them, and a big, massive reason why we feel the way we do. But is that reason good enough for you to continue to feel that way and carry that into your life and into your future? Do you want to continue to feel this toxicity, and then that infects people around you as well? When's it going to be enough for you to be able to put down your sword, to be able to close that door and to move on with your life? There is a sense here of ownership that's required, especially if we need to look at this honestly. It's not about other people's opinions of it. It's about sitting with ourselves. What is the honest truth here for us? And writing in our journal, I can't recommend that highly enough. So if this is something that resonates with you, that you feel is just like me speaking directly to you, and this is personal for you, then maybe you need to hear this right now so that you can put the stop sign up and just say to yourself, enough of struggling with this. And there's energy moving here in the throat. So, you know, it's about being honest with ourselves and really listening to how we feel, listening to what we've got going on, and then shifting our perspective. How can we grow from this? How can we learn from this? How can we turn this challenge into an opportunity? How can we shift and turn fear into love? It's up to us to see it. So there's a confronting energy around. We might have to face our fear and our shadow again, or continuing to do so. But yeah, there's a potential for things to shift this week. So hopefully this is the week for you to shift things if you've been dealing with them for a while. Thank you so much for being here. Take care of yourself and have a fantastic week ahead. I'll be back to share with you again very soon. So take care of yourself. Happy birthday, happy anniversary if you're celebrating. Namaste.